Revelation by Dying Adolescents from Sydney. I played that song because I thought about my adolescence and how much it involved drinking goon, one of the cheapest and worst forms of alcohol. I am a bit older now, but I still tend to drink wine, beer, spirits and other alcohol, and sometimes it leaves me feeling a little bit worse for wear. Sometimes I even think, God, that wasn't worth it at all. And so do you apparently on the text line. Someone saying, Ross from Coleroy, definitely dusty today after a Sunday sesh on the Canadian clubs and dry. Yep, it is those sugary drinks that often get you. I'm gonna be talking right now to my guest today here on Mornings, who are tackling binge drinking one beer at a time. Welcome to Benny of 101 Tokens and Ainslie of Quali. Welcome to FBI Radio, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You guys have come together with Clinton Schultz, who's a psychologist from Sober Beverages, to develop a program that is trying to help Australians with their binge drinking. So you've all worked in tackling this problem, and you've come from startups that sort of help people to deal with it. Let's talk about the program that you've developed now. It's called the Retrain Your Booze Brain Accelerator. Can you tell us just an elevator pitch basically of what this program is?
Yeah, most definitely. So we started for my company 101 Tokens as a New Year's resolution for just me. And the idea was to cut my drinking from 5 days a week down to under 2. And so the way it still works is every time you have a drink, you enter into the 101 Tokens app the next day, whether it was worth it or not, yay or nay. And essentially that allows you to draw patterns in your drinking, knock out the bad ones and pump up the good ones. The accelerator is more of like a condensed version, helping people who just need that little extra help. And it's, I guess we were saying it's more of a holistic version of 101 Tokens in the next iteration.
And to become more holistic, you've brought on a few people on board, or you've all come together. Ainslie, tell me about is it an app, Quali?
Quali's it's a platform, I suppose. So we've come on board because as a researcher, I suppose, our skill at Quali is getting people to self-reflect and kind of take a moment and consider why they do what they do. And so Benny's passion for this area, and also just as a massive social issue, it was just a perfect synergy of getting our kind of research approach embedded within the program. So as people are being mindful of how they drink, we can also help that process along.
So the Retrain Your Booze Brain Accelerator, it's not basically telling people or helping people to stop drinking, it's helping to eliminate the bad times that come with drinking. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, it's definitely it's a pro-drinking movement, so that kind of jars people sometimes, because like we all love a beer, but there's just a better way to do it. We say mindful drinking without being too woo hippie. Mindfulness is literally just accountability and consideration. So they're the kind of key things that we try and instill into people. That it's time to kind of stand up to our potential issues.
And when did this issue sort of come to be important to you guys? Did you sort of come from a background of realising that drinking wasn't all fun all the time all of a sudden and wanted to figure out a way to eliminate those bad vibes?
Yeah, I think for me I was using booze as a crutch, working long hours like a lot of people can feel the
Definitely.
Same way. So yeah, it comes from a place of me just wanting to hack my own drinking and then realising that actually this system can help a lot of people out there. We've had 11,000 downloads on the app in 76 different countries. So people from all over the world seem to want to try at least mindful drinking. It's definitely not about giving up the booze. It's about finding the right booze for you and putting yourself in the right situation. Yeah,
it's just trying to avoid, I think we were talking off air about that morning after, where you've had a boozy night before and you get that sort of anxiety, which we call hangxiety with an H.
I love that it's got a name.
Yeah. So I suppose it's about trying to eliminate that next morning feeling of like, oh my gosh, what's just happened? What have I done? And it's not abstinence. So people still deserve to have a blowout and enjoy themselves, but it's just doing that in a way that's slightly more thought through, I suppose. So
have you got any tips and tricks for anyone who's like, maybe they've had this thought, okay, I have got a bit of a crutch here. They haven't had that much support from their friends, but they want to get on that very first track to drinking mindfully. Where do you start with it?
Yeah, so I'll say visit 101tokens.com. So yeah, we've got a bunch of free resources on there, and they're literally like some of the strategies you can get access to them for free, which is like thinking about what your why is, which is fundamentally important for any motivation that you have for changing any habit. So once you can define your why, it gives you sort of like a really strong point to come from when you're explaining to people that you are shifting your drinking habits, because we all know how tough it is to go to the pub and tell your mates that you normally drink with, I'm not going to get smashed tonight. Like, I'm only going to have a few, or I'm just not drinking at all. So that's the first part. But then there's, things like intention setting. What am I actually drinking for? Things like being really honest with yourself and identifying those traits in your drinking, the good and the bad, like I said. But yeah, they're the kind of the cornerstone strategies that we try and instill to people.
Can you give us a pretty typical example of one good reason to drink and one bad reason to drink, just to give us an idea of why people, should and shouldn't get pissed?
I suppose good reason to drink would be, maybe you've just hit a milestone in your life. So you've got that job that you really wanted, or you've just graduated from university or some kind of high point in your life, or maybe you haven't seen a long lost friend for a while. I suppose bad reason to drink is that you're strung out at the end of a week. You might be depressed about something that's going on in your life, or a bit tormented. And so rather than maybe sitting with that discomfort or doing something to kind of shift that, you kind of reach for the bottle and drown it instead.
I'm going to give you a bit of a tough one here, because this happened to me recently on the weekend. What if you're at a milestone celebration for someone and you're just a little bit bored, and you think, what would actually really make me liven up a little bit is if I had chucked back a couple of bevos.
Yeah.
Good or bad?
Yeah, I know. Like, I guess we call that blowing a fun valve. So I guess you got to just be really, like I said before, intention. Like, what is my intention for being here tonight? And I think the terminology "fucked up" is something we probably need to erase from our lexicon, I guess you'd say, because we only really say "fucked up" like if we're in a motorcycle accident, or for me, it would be surfing, like getting caught up on a reef and ripping my arm open or something. So we use that terminology as in, I'm going to get fucked up, and it's like everyone gets excited about it. But I think...
Yeah, you were so fucked up last night. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. And I've said it in the past heaps of times. So it's just something, I think it's just intention setting. Like, well, do I really need to, go and have these 5 shots? And like, what am I going to achieve by that? Is there some other way that I can... Because it's usually social interaction, right? So how can I go and do that in a different way?
So you guys have incorporated a psychologist onto the Retrain Your Booze Brain Accelerator program. What element does that sort of bring to helping people with their binge drinking? Or how does that help?
I suppose Benny nor I are a psychologist, and from Benny's experience, I suppose, doing this year-long thing some time ago, and also more recently this sort of more accelerator program, when people stop and think about why it is that they drink, it can sometimes bring up some things that are uncomfortable or unexpected. And so while the program is there to support people going through it and we create a community around that, it's really for those times where we think actually we are a bit in over our head, and we don't want to give the wrong advice. So we tap on Quinton to kind of provide a bit more of a clinical view. He's a great guy, so it's not like white coat kind of thing, but he's kind of the medical guy, if you like.
So it's kind of like you've got the scientific side, maybe Ainslie, you bringing sort of the emotional side,
yeah.
And Ben, you're sort of down to the very numbers of it, like how many nights was it worthwhile? Tell me a little bit about how people interact with this program.
Yeah, so as I said, like all those cornerstone things are the established part of the first part of the program. And then as they go on, that's where I think quality becomes really powerful, is that we get the people to actually record, like actually live record how they're going, where their progress is at, and then we also allow them to sort of share that with the rest of the community as well. So it kind of creates like more of an intimate group. Last year when I was running 101 Tokens, it was an intimate group. There was about 90 of us in a closed group. Then when it kind of accidentally went global, we lost that intimacy. So what we're trying to do with the accelerator is really bring that back to a smaller, tighter-knit community where people feel comfortable sharing their feelings and stuff, and
progress. How much easier is it to do a challenge when you do have that community around you of people going through the exact same thing, in the same boat, so to speak?
Yeah.
What are your goals with the program?
Yeah, so something that sort of pissed me off the other day is I was rechecking the statistics from fair.org. So 1 in 3 people are affected by alcohol-related violence now, like directly. So that's gone up from 1 in 4.
In Australia?
In Australia, yeah. 45% of us drink to get drunk now. That's gone up from 37% 2 years ago. So every time they have a sip, their intention is to get blind. And another one is 430 people are admitted to hospital every day in Australia due to alcohol, which is obscene.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So there's a World Health Organization target that we have to reduce alcohol-related harm across the world by 10%. Now, I know that big companies and there's a lot of corporates who are working towards this. Now, as Australians, it looks like we're going backwards. So what I guess we're really working towards is creating awareness, but also like, come on, as Australians, we really need to stand up to ourselves and potentially point out something that we probably avoid talking about a lot, and just say enough's enough. And I think potentially, like, great for FBI, getting our Sydney nightlife back a bit, it would be pretty awesome too, because we all know the sort of strain it's put on our culture right here in the city.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose it's about, at an individual level, it's about helping people not have those hangover anxiety moments on a Monday morning, but also more generally looking at our culture and our society. And yeah, opening up like venues again in Sydney would be awesome if we could kind of decrease some of that violence that was happening around it, that sort of thing. And then on a global scale, imagine if Australia could lead the way with this. Like, that's a great story for us.
Absolutely. Well, you're both so inspiring to me. Just young people out there doing it, making it happen for Australia. And the Retrain Your Booze Brain Accelerator program is $297, which is quite a fair chunk of money, realistically. But you guys have put in a little bit of an incentive, haven't you?
Yeah, so it's we're giving people $101 back if they finish it. I think the way we talk about it is the average person saves $60 a week. So over the 10 weeks, they're saving potentially $600. So the maths kind of works out that potentially we're putting $400 back in your pocket. Sounds
there you
a bit
go,
salesy.
Ben, on the numbers again.
Numbers, man. But as much as we love to give stuff away for free, which we already do a lot of it, we feel like people actually need to put money where their mouth is, because it's so easy just to throw away something they get for free. So
realistically, it comes down to about $197. If you complete the program successfully, you do get that $100 cash back. Well done to both of you. Good luck with the program. It is the last day you can sign up today. So we're going to have a link on the Mornings with Bridie Tanner program page where people can go and sign up to the Retrain Your Booze Brain Accelerator, or you can just Google that or Google 101 tokens and you should be able to find your way through. Thank you so much to Ben and Ainslie for joining me this morning on FBI Radio.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Here's a track from Tyler, the Creator, and ASAP Rocky. This is Potato Salad.